Hi there folks, time for another game review, and I'm now down to just 20 Commodore 64 Mastertronic games left to review. The next game I'm going to take a look at is a sports game based on a sport I'm actually reasonably good at in real life. That's 10-pin bowling, and the game is called Strike. So here we have the artwork, and as befits a bowling game, it's basically got some pins being hit by a bowling ball. It says Strike on it. It's a mad release, and that's pretty much all you can say about the front cover. Moving on, the spine also says Strike on it, and the back cover has a number of screenshots, all of which look pretty much exactly the same. And the blurb about the game is superbly playable, addictive and challenging. This game will have you hooked in minutes and playing for hours trying to achieve that elusive strike. I would hope a strike's not too elusive, otherwise it's going to be pretty frustrating stuff. And inside we have the instructions. A challenging game of precision and accuracy. The object in Strike is to not... I think we all know the rules of 10-pin bowling. Let's skip that a little bit. Tells you how to score. I assume the scoring will be done automatically within the game. But basically it tells you the rules of 10-pin bowling. Again, if you don't know them, you're probably not really going to enjoy this review too much anyway. And inside gives you a bit more information about the rules, how to score. And it's got an example scoreboard that shows how the scoring works, and it's got the controls. As you can see there, it says it can be played against a computer or another player, and you can play with joystick or keyboard, and it's got the loading instructions, and that's pretty much it. Here we have the loading screen. Pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. The one thing that is worth noting is the bowler seems to have an absolutely enormous hand. Reminds me of Kenny Everett with his enormous hands back in the early 80s. And the other thing to note is the Mad Games logo in the corner, which is the Mad Games logo from the first wave of Mad releases from 1985. This game, as you can see over here, was released in 1987, so that's a bit of a strange thing, but there it is. So here we have the title screen, one of the least impressive title screens ever made. No music, no nice graphics, it just says Strike in blue text, and then it's got a scrolling white text on a red background, which seems to be a bit glitched as well. If you look through this quickly, as you can see, it's a binary design production. There's a weird blob in the middle of it there, and then when you get to the keys, it's kind of not really got all the information there either. So it's a little bit broken. That might just be because of a slight glitch in the loading, or it might just be not very good programming. And you can see it was designed or programmed by Martin Howarth, graphics by Jez Nelson, music by Jazz Brook, and playtesting by Joanne Howarth. So that's it for the title screen. Let's take a look at the game. So graphically reasonably impressive, got an isometric view of the bowling alley. I'm playing against a computer, by the way. No sound or music at the moment, although some music does come on eventually. I don't know why it doesn't come on immediately. So what you need to do is position your bowler where you think he's going to bowl the ball in the right place to hit the pins. The pins are represented in the top left there, and the scoreboard's on the bottom right, which obviously has got no scores on at the moment. So basically all you do, and he starts moving left and right by himself if you don't start to move him yourself, but you move him left and right, position him where you want him to bowl. You push forward to start running towards the line there. You can run over it and you get a foot fault, so I'll try not to do that. If you press the fire button while you're running, then he starts to swing the ball, and you've got to time the bowling just right, otherwise he will drop the ball on his foot or let go of it too soon and drop it on the alleyway. That happens a lot based on my previous go, but I'll try and get the ball down the alley. So once you start moving, you can't stop, so you can't walk closer to the lines and work out exactly where you want to go. It's all kind of guesswork, so let's give it a go. And there we go, drop the ball on my foot. You'll be seeing that a lot during this video. Even the computer does that, which is some compensation that the computer's nearly as bad a player as you are. So it's really, really slow. The guy moves left and right really, really slowly. Between each ball, you have to watch the pin resetter thing. You can't move until it's reset them. It's incredibly, incredibly slow. Let's give it another go. Nope, drop the ball on my foot again. It just seems to be total guesswork as to where you let go of the fire button. So I got none for my first go. Let's see how the computer gets on. So far, no sound whatsoever in the game. The graphics are quite nice, but as you can see, both bowlers are identical. He's dropped the ball on the lane there. I should say in hundreds of games of bowling I've had over the years, I've never seen anyone run up to the line, swing the ball and drop it directly on the foot. I think that's actually impossible because you'd have to throw it exactly vertical with no momentum behind it. There we go. He's actually managed to bowl the ball and the music starts then for some reason. Don't know why it doesn't start eventually. So there's some music which is, to be honest, fairly sinister for a 10-pin bowling game. So he got 7. Let's see if I can get something on the board. So again, you have to wait for the pins to be set. Then you can move. All you can do is move roughly to the middle. There doesn't seem to be any way to put spin on the ball. You'd be lucky to even bowl the ball down the alleyway, let alone actually put any kind of spin on it. So I'll just position myself there. And once again, I've dropped the ball on my foot. I just don't understand exactly at what point you're supposed to let go of it. In my previous game, I did actually get some scores on the board. Let's see if I can actually manage to do that. Let's give it another go. Nope, done it again. I just don't get it. Sometimes you manage to let go of it and bowl it, and sometimes he doesn't. So at the moment, after 2 frames, I've basically dropped the ball on my foot 4 times. And there's no way to skip the computer's go either, so you have to sit and watch it doing exactly the same as what you're doing. There we go, he's managed to bowl it. Not very well though. As I said, it's at least some compensation that the computer is almost as bad as you are. The music kind of plods along, but it doesn't last very long, so you can imagine the duration of this game. You're very bored of it by the end of it. There's no noise when you hit the pins or anything like that. It's a bit of an oversight. There we go. He's got himself on the toe as well. It's just ludicrous. I say that's impossible to do. The ball would always go down the lane, even if it just ends up in the gutter. So I'll continue to play through. I'll just on the video show the edited highlights if there are any, because I think you would be switching this video off if you had to sit through all 10 frames being played by both players. Nope, and there it goes again. Utterly frustrating. Oh, finally! I managed to bowl the ball. That's actually pretty good as well. I got 8. And what did I do differently that time compared to all the other goes? I've got no idea. I'm actually still in this game, believe it or not. I'm only 2 behind at the moment. Let's see how the computer goes. So no points for the computer. I am actually in this game. If I can get some kind of a rhythm going, there's a possibility I could actually overtake him here. I'm not getting my hopes up too much though. we go, pins with the first ball. The computer, by the way, on the last frame got nothing again. One of the worst AI performances by a computer in a game ever, I suspect. I've got one pin left to get. Can I pick up a spare? Probably not, although I am starting to get my eye in a little bit. Nope, cocked it up. So I'm now into frame 8 and the computer has picked its game up a bit. It got 8 on frame 6 and has just got a strike on frame 7. So I really need to get something on this go to stay in the lead. Let's see how I get on. Not too well so far. Such a frustrating game. It's just impossible to work out when you're supposed to let go of the ball. It's just pure fluke. And that's no way to play any kind of game, let alone a sports game. Needless to say, I'm not very impressed with the game, and it's not a patch on real 10-pin bowling. I think that almost went without saying. That's 2 consecutive frames for me with no score now. It's all going to be down to what the computer does on its next go with the strike, with the next 2 balls counting on top of what they've already got on frame 7. Let's take a little look at that. Oh, well, that's a good result from my perspective. Dropped the ball on his foot again. Quite how myself and the computer are managing to play the game anymore with broken feet, I'm not sure. And he's totally messed up on the frame after the strike, so I'm actually still in the lead, unbelievably. 9th frame and I've got 40 points now, having got 7 in the last frame, and the computer's on for a spare here, which could make things interesting for the 10th frame if it gets it. No, he's dropped the ball behind him. Absolutely pathetic. So going into the 10th frame, I've got a 5-point lead. It could all be down to this next couple of bowls. Thankfully after that it'll all be over. Oh, well, I've got it. Oh, strike! Strike in the 10th frame. That should seal the game for me with 2 extra bowls on top of this now. Unbelievable. Not quite sure how I managed it, pure fluke, but I've got a chance to make my score something approaching respectable, given that probably 6 out of the 10 frames had no score at all. Nope, I'm not following that up with any kind of spectacular result. I think I've got one more bowl. I know I've got one more bowl. But that should, unless the computer has a unbelievable run of bowling in the last frame, that should actually secure me the victory. Oh, and I've got one again. Ooh, another 7. I'm happy with that, given the disgrace of a game that this is. 57 points. Pretty pleased with that result. Nice to get a strike in the final frame. So let's just see what the computer does. It's got to get a strike on this ball to have any chance, I think. He's really having to think about it. Oh, he's dropped the ball. Possibly the worst computer player in any game ever made, I think. And possibly one of the worst implementations of a sport on a computer game as well. I can't think of anything worse at the moment. Wii Sports, it's not. In fact, 10th frame, it's not. If you remember 10th frame on the Commodore 64. It's fair to say bowling's one of those games that's probably better. I'm not really sure what's happening here now. We seem to have a glitch now. It's gone back to me. Well, my game is over, but for some reason it's giving me another go. Terrible programming, again. That was bizarre. I don't really know what's going to happen now. I don't know where it's going to put that score, because the game's already over for me. Computer's having another go now. That was really strange. Somebody's got their counting wrong within the game, it seems. So it's nearly over. What on earth's happened there? He didn't even swing the ball, he just dropped out of his hand. This guy must have butterfingers. So he ended up with 35, and it's giving me another go now. Something peculiar is happening. Clearly getting the strike at the end and the extra balls has really screwed up the gameplay somehow. Not covering myself in glory with these extra goes anyway. That should be game over now. It should be more than game over. It's still going. What on earth is happening? Nice ball, computer. Right down the edge of the gutter. I don't know what you were thinking there. Is it going to be over after this one? No, it's still giving me another go. I think this is now well and truly broken. I'll give it one more go. I'm not quite sure what it's going to do if I actually get a score on the board. Oh, here we go. We'll find out now. Oh, another strike. This should have an interesting impact on the scoreboard, I feel. Nothing, it's just broken, it's totally knackered now. What a terrible game, utterly awful and definitely not worth $2.99. Well, I couldn't resist to carrying on playing a little bit more and the game has gone totally bonkers now. As you can see, the ball's just going all over the screen instead of down the thing. Definitely some serious bugs in this code. So whoever playtested it didn't do a particularly good job. Check out my score sheet at the moment. What is going on there? And my guy, he just moves around and does his own thing. Ball goes all over the place on the screen. This could go on forever, but I don't think you need to see that, do you?
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.